Lil Nas X alone.
Oh, I just had to swallow real quick. What's up, everybody? What's going on? It's your boy, Kris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new show up on the line. Brand new episode. I know it's been a minute because I've been on my own YouTube page, but I've been busy over with Wednesday Night Kiki. We have our own YouTube channel. Management, production will put that information up in here so you guys can follow that channel as well. It is separate from my own channel, and I'm doing multiple shows in different places. So be sure to check that out, as well as some articles that I will be talking about that are on tribe.com, another website that I write for, or a blog, if you want to call it such. We're going to be talking about a lot of interesting things that's going on that's been trending in the world of entertainment news, including the new Pose trailer dropped yesterday. So we're going to talk about it today. And we're also going to talk about Noah's Ark finally being acknowledged by GLAAD. I got some thoughts on that. And Kate Winslet is opening up and revealing that she knows quite a few actors in Hollywood who are gay and are afraid to come, or bisexual and afraid to come out of the closet. So we have that and a whole lot more. Plus, if we have enough time, I want to talk about Niecy Nash, Drag Race, and a bunch of other stuff. If it does get a little too winded, I will be doing 2 videos. But if not, we'll try to combine everything in here as possible. Hey, Dijon, how you doing? Yeah, I had to tag him and let him know because I'm going to be talking about Pose. And I should say that one of the things I love about Dijon is like myself, me being one of the first people to review Pose before all of a sudden a lot of vloggers and people jumped on the bandwagon. Dijon was the first person to actually do a viewing party at Rock Bar for Pose season 1. It wasn't until season 2 all of a sudden everybody woke up and started trying to capitalize on the whole Pose phenomenon. So it's always us rare folk in the world of color. I mean, in the world of queer people of color and in entertainment who basically want to shine light on something that everybody else won't do until they see how well it does, and then they want to jump on the bandwagon. But nevertheless, not to toot our own horns, let's just get right into the tea. So Pose dropped their trailer for their final season, which is going to be kicking off on May 2nd. And I should also point out that the season finale is going to air on June 6th. What I want to do right now is, before we go into the rest of it, I want to give you a little sneak peek in case you haven't seen of the trailer. So let's roll that, if we can. See if it plays. Okay, so while he oh, of course, no problem. So with that, I should also say that, unfortunately, all good things must unfortunately come to an end. So less than a month after announcing that the upcoming 3rd season will be its last, FX has finally unleashed the trailer to Pose, and let's just say y'all better have plenty of tissues handy. So now what I should also point out is that this season will be filled with all the love, the laughter, and tears that you have come to expect from the Evangelista family. Show co-creator and executive producer Stephen Canal said when he announced the show was coming to an end. So he says, I, along with my television collaborators, never intended on changing the television landscape. I simply wanted to tell an honest story about family, resilience, and love. So the final season, I should say, was chopped down to 7 episodes, with the 2-hour season premiere airing on May 2nd and the season finale airing on June 6th. on FX. And I should point out that when I say 2-hour season premiere of Pose, it is based on 2 episodes they're going to be showing back to back. So that's 2 of the 7 episodes. So pretty much it looks like we're going to have like 6 weeks of this show airing, unfortunately. So I should also point out, in case you're wondering what this season is going to be all about, the new season is going to be jumping to 1994, 3 years ahead of where season 2 ended. Here we learn that Angel and Lil Poppy, played by India Moore, and Angel B. Curiel are still a couple. Blanca, played by MJ Rodriguez, has a new job as a nurse's aide, and she seems to be assisting Sandra Bernhardt's Judy Kubrak. Now, pray tell, played by the Emmy Award-winning Billy Porter, will not only reminisce on some of the better days of ballroom, but we will also see him struggle with his health as a result of his HIV diagnosis. It also seems that Ricky Wintour, played by Dylan Burnside, will also make a return, and from the looks of the trailer, he may be getting kicked to the curb and thrown out of his own damn house. Now, meanwhile, the AIDS continues to wipe out many of our queer and trans Americans, and the gang takes their fight for equality to the streets. We also see a shift in the evolution of ballroom, with the icons of that community trying their hardest to protect the ballroom's legacy. Now, Jeremy Pope, who was on, I think it was that movie in the series Hollywood, that they had over on the other Ryan Murphy series that they had over at Netflix, he's going to be appearing. He does make a little, you see a little quick shot of him at the ball. And from what I've heard, he's going to be playing Blanca's love interest, which I was kind of afraid of. Like, okay, now I know we need to get those iconic ballroom scenes. Are we going to get those ballroom scenes? Because, you know, the COVID situation, the COVID restrictions, but it seems like everything is going to be popping up in there. And so I'm glad we're getting those ballroom scenes. We're going to get Pray Tell's, you know, signature sassy one-liners that, you know, those are the scenes that I live for. Now, in addition to Emmy and Tony winner Porter and Rodriguez, Pose stars Dominique Jackson, India Moore, Ryan Jamal Swain, Haley Sahara, Angel Curiel, Dylan Burnside, and Sandra Bernhardt. So, also from what I'm hearing, what's his name? Stephen Canals has revealed that we're going to get more into the backstory of Elektra, because we don't really know much about her. What we really know about her is, okay, the body in the trunk, which was taken pretty much from Dorian Corey's personal life. If you've seen Paris is Burning, which I've seen like 8 million damn times, I cannot tell you how many times I'm seeing Paris is Burning, but it's literally, like, in my opinion, the gay what do you call it? The gay Bible. Yeah, this is when I came into the ballroom scene. So, what was that, like the 90s? Because you and I'm not going to say, but we're in the same age bracket. Yeah, so what I'm hearing is that we are going to learn more about Elektra's backstory, because all we know about her is, the dead body for when she was a dominatrix during season 2, and then, she was her life, she was being financed by Dick Ford, who, was played by the one and only Christopher Maloney, who, now is over on Law and Order Organized Crime. I haven't seen that show yet, but I'm going to get around to it because I'm a Christopher Maloney fan. I love me some Stabler from SVU and that whole genre. So we're going to actually get to see her. And she also walked recently in the Mugler fashion show. So, 92 show. Oh no, I wasn't even thinking about balls in the night. And well, I wasn't thinking about those balls in the 90s. I was thinking about the other one. I was thinking about the other ones. But so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing like what we're gonna learn more about Elektra's backstory. But yeah, if we have the time now, let's say we could we could show the trailer of Pose. Do we have it now? Yes. No, I guess not. Okay, so I'll keep talking. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this upcoming season. I was hoping, I don't even know if because while I was reading, I don't know if any pictures or videos or whatever popped up. But okay, let's move right along. So Noah's Ark, I should say congratulations to them, because the 2020 reunion special that they aired a couple of months ago, or was it last year? I don't remember, because I do remember seeing it during the whole COVID situation. They won.
I used to take that mic in my hands.
The category is...
And it made me feel alive. Your life matters.
This job is not for the faint of heart. You're a trans woman of color working in a hospital.
I'm just trying to stay afloat.
Is this about your legacy?
No, it's about our legacy.
5, 6, 7, 8.
We rose from the bottom, and we became stars. When we walk together, we make a statement.
I'm in.
We're just gonna be ourselves, and that's it.
The balls ain't what they used to be. Cash prizes and tacky lip syncs. There used to be the sense of urgency.
Okay, so yeah, that was a bit of the trailer. And yeah, I'm sure there are going to be plenty of viewing parties, including I know Rock Bar is doing one. So yeah, because I know a lot of stuff is going on, you know, the bars and everything. New York is trying to get some sense of normalcy back, you know, with the whole bar club scene and everything. So I'm looking forward to that. So once again, now let's get right to my next topic, which is the Rona Chronicles of Noah's Ark, which was acknowledged finally by the GLAAD Media Special Recognition Awards. So Daryl Stevens accepted this special recognition because he said he was filming something. I don't know necessarily what he was filming, but it was that they were, and it was a couple of other things, including Deadline's new Hollywood podcast, Out, which was an animation written and directed by Stephen Clay Hunter. Oh, it's a Pixar animated thing. And The Sun, which is an Apple TV anthology series, Little America, which was about a story of gay Syrian refugees being, dreaming of being granted asylum in America so he can be free to be himself openly, which is something I can definitely know about because, you know, I don't want to start spilling people's tea, but I have a roommate who's gone through a whole thing where he's from a Muslim country or a country where I don't want to give away all his business, but he had to seek asylum in America for being gay. So there's a whole lot of, that story kind of resonates because I know someone who has gone through something similar and how people are trying to get out of a country that will kill you, extort you, throw you in jail for just wanting to be yourself. So congratulations to them. And I have to say it's about damn time that they wanted to acknowledge Noah's Ark because Noah's Ark is 15 years old. Excuse me. I don't think that Logo even fully supported the series. I don't think that a lot of the networks and stuff really fully support or still support because, you know, like I'm still upset over the fact that why did Pose only get 7 episodes of a third season when I could have sworn they were granted 2 more seasons. And I don't know, maybe FX didn't fully put their weight behind this series. I don't know the politics of what was going on behind the scenes, and I'm sure that that whole group that were working on the show had to fight tooth and nail to get things done over there, just like all the stuff I'm hearing now about It's a Sin had to fight to get the stuff that they need to get. They wanted to do 10 episodes and were able to only get, I forget how many, but they did like 7 or 8 episodes. So a lot of the networks still don't really, and streaming services don't truly believe in stories, our stories. So we're still having to fight that good fight and be acknowledged. So while I'm glad that, you know, no pun intended, while I'm glad that Pose is being acknowledged and Noah's Ark is being acknowledged and Pose was able to, you know, tell the story they were able to tell. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I am aware of that as well. Like I've known people who are Muslim, who are people who are South Asian, who are marrying women, and it's literally like you can see they are cuntier than, you know, cuntier than cunt, I'll say. And they're like, oh, I'm straight. I'm like, straight where? And you don't want to pull people out of the closet. You don't want to drag. You don't want to. I don't want to be the one to do that because I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. People got to come out in their own time. But it's sad. Like even if you are in a country that accepts, for the most part, more so. I won't say fully accept because no, I don't think any country will fully accept. There's always gonna be haters. So when you have a country that accepts LGBT people more so than you would in a country like, you know, a Pakistan or an Iraq or some place like that, you want to, I mean, you want to feel free, at least in a country that allows you to be gay, like in Canada or United States, wherever the case is. You want to be able to feel like you're your free, authentic self. And it's unfortunate that even when you're in a country that will accept you, it's still a lot for people to handle. So good luck. And I'm looking forward to, well, you know what, even now that people are finally acknowledging Noah's Ark, 15 years too damn late, hopefully we can get more programs that are fully representative of our community. We can see more shows featuring people of color. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, speaking of outing people, let's talk about Kate Winslet. So she got a lot of feathers ruffled. And one thing I've always loved about Kate Winslet is Kate Winslet has never been one to mince words. She's never been one to hold her tongue. And that's something that I've always liked about her. And she's always had a pretty steady career. Like she's not necessarily a big movie star. She's an actor. So, exactly. So, you know, let your flame burn bright in the words of Emmett Honeycutt. Kate Winslet is revealing that she knows at least 4 closeted actors, all of whom refuse to come out for fear of damaging their careers. It's funny, in 2021, we're still having this damn conversation. Now, she says, I cannot tell you the number of young actors I know, some well-known, some starting out, who are terrified their sexuality will be revealed and that it will stand in the way of their being cast in straight roles. The actors told the Sunday Times. She says, now that's fucked up. I can think of at least 4 actors absolutely hiding their sexuality, Winslet added. It's painful because the fear of being found out. And that's why that's what they say, I don't want to be found out. The actress went on to say that she knows a well-known actor who recently changed agents. The new agent pressured him to stay in the closet rather than come out as bisexual. Winslet also speculates that men face a much higher hurdle when it comes to coming out, as Hollywood clings to the attitude that queer men can't play straight roles. But meanwhile, you can have a straight person play trans, and you can have straight people play gay. That makes sense, and win Oscars for it, and Emmys, and all kinds of awards. So the ass backwards mentality of our industry, where it's easy for a woman to come out and have a career because these perverted ass, nasty ass Harvey Weinsteins are, because Harvey Weinstein ain't the only pervert running around Hollywood. There's plenty more where that came from that are currently like hiding who they are. I mean, we're still going through the whole situation of Joss Whedon and his old nasty lisping ass. From the word that recently came out, he was trying to ruin Gal Gadot's career because of a scene that she didn't want to shoot where I believe the Flash lands on her boobs or something like that. Like he was trying to do some perverted sexual shit, and that man is not even realizing that man is a whole goddamn problem. And I can't even watch shows like Buffy and them the same after this. But and what I thought, he was pro woman, but he's pro asshole and pro pervert. So it's funny how like the work you admire, and you start to learn who they truly are decades from now. And Ray Fisher's still talking. We've heard Charisma Carpenter talking, and I'm hoping that we can hear some stories from Scarlett Johansson in regards of maybe with some shit she experienced on the set of the Avengers movies, the 2 of them that he directed. I like the first one, hated the second one, by the way he filmed that one. But anyway, she says that should be almost illegal. You would not believe how widespread it is, and it can't just be distilled to the question about gay actors playing gay parts, because actors in some cases are choosing not to come out for personal reasons, and it's nobody's business. She's also went on to say, I don't intend to browbeat or take on Hollywood. We're just talking about young actors who might be considering joining this profession and finding a way to make it more open for there to be less judgment, discrimination, and homophobia. Now, Winslet's remarks come as a sensitive time at LGBTQ actors in Hollywood. Now, I should say, while some creators, notably Russell T. Davies, who I just talked about previously, he created It's a Sin and the original Queer as Folk, I should point out, have become more vocal in the need for Hollywood to only cast queer actors as queer characters. Others, including Neil Patrick Harris, Stanley Tucci, Viggo Mortensen, and even Kate Winslet herself, have criticized that attitude, insisting that sexuality should not play a role in qualifying an actor for a part. Now, Winslet herself recently played a lesbian in the drama Ammonite. In the same interview, she also revealed she was the only actress considered for the part. Now, I should say, as an actor, if you want to play a role, that should be the thing for you. Play that role if you're good at the part. Because my thing is, I don't want to just play. Now, if I'm an openly gay actor wanting to play a gay part, I want to be able to play those parts if it resonates to me in some sort of way. It's like, yes, I may be gay, but what if they made me a character that was like, oh, he's a vampire or monster hunter who happens to be homosexual? Obviously, in real life, they ain't no damn monsters that I'm going around killing. But in real life, I am, you know, as in my personal life, I sleep with men. So therefore, if you want to incorporate that into the character, I can bring some experience into that to make it more believable. Now, maybe there may be some fetishes and kinks and things that my character will be into that me personally, I'm not. But as an actor, I have to convince you that this stuff is believable. And that's the part of an actor. Now, when you move on from that and I want to play something completely opposite of that, I should be able to go into a room and play that part and you not have in the back of your mind, oh, he's gay in real life. So I can't believe that if he makes out with Jennifer Lopez, that, oh, he's gay in real life. He's not really into, I mean, that's with any actor. Like if Matthew McConaughey now made out with Jennifer Lopez, clearly he's not into her because they're acting. They have chemistry, but he don't want to be with her in real life because he has his own wife and his own family, and J-Lo has A-Rod and, you know, all these other people. So if I'm doing a role with an actor, you should be able to separate the two. I'm not really this person. I'm a descendant of playing a part. So having the opportunity to play these different roles, I think should be there. Now, in the regards of her saying about gay and bisexual actors, people should be allowed to love who they love without judgment. But unfortunately, we live in a society where people judge everybody all the time and act like that their house is clean, unfortunately. So this is a conversation that we're probably going to keep having, that people are so interested in wanting to know about. Like there's a lot of, I mean, we're slowly starting to see a change. We're slowly starting to see actors who feel like, you know what, I'm comfortable enough where it's just like, I'm going to be me. I'm going to still get some parts. I mean, we have a couple of people out here who are openly gay and are getting work. We have Luke Evans. We have, who is it? Neil Patrick Harris. We have Matt Bomer. You have the usual suspects of people who have careers and are living out of the closet. But you have to be an actor. Now, as a movie star, like say tomorrow, if Tom Cruise ain't coming out of no damn closet, I'm just using him as an example. I'm not outing anyone. But if you had someone at the caliber of a Tom Cruise and you expect him to come out, that ain't happening. Because there's still some countries that do not support homosexuality. Specifically, if you're trying to market your film to a place like China or something like that, where a lot of times certain franchises depend on a global market, it's sad, it's fucked up, it's stupid, but at the end of the day, this is a business. And it's sad that people can't even live and be themselves. They have to hide and do fake relationships and have fake girlfriends because they're afraid of losing money or rocking the boat. Some people just want to work. Some people just want to have some kind of income coming in. They don't want to have to be the martyr, or they don't want to have to be the person that you stare at and think about who they're sleeping with all the time, because that's none of your goddamn business. Now, I know plenty of people who are hiding in the closet in Hollywood, and this is not the place for me to start spilling their tea and telling their business. If you heard me long enough, you know what I'm talking about. But it's just unfortunate this is the way it is. And shout out to Kate Winslet for saying what she said. So now, speaking of closeted folk, Niecy Nash, who you know is married to her husband and was on Red Table Talk, where you know you had exactly, it's a coin-driven society, where she had what was it? She was talking to Jada Pinkett and her daughter Willow, and then they talked about how they were infatuated by people of the same gender. And I'm like, infatuated? Jada, I'm sure that you have licked plenty of boxes in your lifetime and still currently do. Like, so not trying to out nobody, but girl, them stories have been out about you and your husband swinging and going both ways since y'all tied the knot. And me, back in the day, if you looked at Jada Pinkett with that little short dude and that blonde, she was giving us full-on AG, bulldagger realness back in the day, and kind of still currently does. But you like it, I love it. Anyway, so Niecy Nash is talking about how we should normalize coming out, because she spoke in an interview with The Advocate where she's encouraging her fans to come out of the closet despite possible blowback. Now, Nash came out as bisexual last year after marrying her wife in a surprise ceremony and said that all her life she thought she was strictly dickly until she met Jessica, and then they were started out as friends, and then one thing led to another, and she opened herself up and realized that she was in love with this person. And people get so caught up in labels and gender and this, that, and the other, but sometimes, maybe she's been in love with the person rather than what they got between their legs. And people need to stop focusing on that too and thinking sexuality is always about, having sex with someone. Sometimes it's about the connection. So she says, I just think that we have to get to a place where we normalize coming out. You can't be dead set against something, but it doesn't change what someone is going to do. I appreciate the fact that I'm somebody who was familiar to people and that they knew me one way. And I could say, hey guys, this is where I'm at now. And because it's somebody you recognize or somebody who you're familiar with, or maybe even somebody who you are a fan of, which is not to say some people might be like, I don't know you anymore. And that's fine too. But at least you see me. And that's what you got to get used to, walking your truth, because you know what that is. You already know. The struggle is that you want to be something other than what it is. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there's a part of accepting and surrendering to your truth and trusting that the universe will bring the support you need. That might not come from where you want it to come from, and you got to be all right with that. And I think she's absolutely right. Like some people, a morgy marriage, okay? Why does that skip? But what was I going to say? Oh, so yeah, I agree with that. It's like some people, I guess they want to come out but are afraid to come out, but they want to control how the reaction of the coming out is. And sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes, the fear outweighs you wanting to do what you want to do, what you need to do. And I feel like the moment you come out of the closet, you don't know how freeing and liberating that is. And if there are people in your life that won't accept you for who you are, fuck them. They weren't for you to begin with. Be a big old faggot. Let your flame burn bright. Live your life as you need to. And if there's certain people in your family who don't accept you and love you, they weren't your family, and they didn't love you to begin with, because to love you is to love all of you, regardless of how you feel. And people need to realize, like parents, whatever the case is, it's not about you. It's about you and not you, but you, the person that are judging you. It's about you and your journey and where you need to go. So, just come out, be you. Don't worry about what other people think. Live your life. And if people can't accept it, tell them to kiss your entire ass in Macy's window. So shout out to Niecy Nash for that tea. Now moving right along, let's talk about Drag Race Down Under. So we now know, I saw the Meet the Queens of that. I had to turn that off after 2 minutes because, first of all, I didn't even like the way they presented it. To me, y'all need to give that show the same amount of energy and effect that you did with the American version of Drag Race, where y'all gave us a full hour of trying to get to know each queen on season 13. And to me, they just like jarbled some crap together to make it entertaining, whatever the case was. So, I didn't particularly care for that. But anyway, so now RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under has officially started its promo, and that was what I was just talking about. Now, Michelle Visage is back, sitting alongside Ru in the Down Under one. Now, there's going to be 10 queens, many with established careers. The only one I know from that show is Art Simone and Karen from Finance. And I know Karen from Finance came under a little fire because they said she did some blackface drag or something back in the day that some people were kind of dragging her for, and she has apologized. But what is it? So they have Judge, oh my God, what's his name? Oh, Reese Nicholson, who is a permanent judge, and they said that there will be celebrity guest judges, but they have not been announced. And this season is going to consist of 8 episodes, and they've wrapped that really quick. Now, this new season, the series premiere, I should say, is going to premiere on May 1st on Wow Presents Plus. So now I'm thinking, okay, so now we're getting Drag Race Down Under and Pose around the same time. So it's going to be real gay in May. And then, of course, we got Pride in June. I don't know what's going on with Pride, but, everybody's getting vaccinated. They're probably going to come up with something at the last minute so that people can get out and have fun and stuff. I ain't tell nobody this, but, bitch, I'm about to get vaccinated this week. So, it's about to go down. Like, I'm about to go back to being a hoe again. But anyway, let's get back to the tea at hand. So yes, I'm looking forward to the whole Drag Race Down Under situation. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing like this. And they said that I think they're gonna, what is it, $100,000 that they're going up for. So there's a lot of queens who's gonna be in there, like Ketamine, Anita Winglet, as I stated, Art Simone, Coco Jumbo. We have Electra Shock, etc., etc. I just love saying that because I think that line was from Tu Wong Fu. It was like etc., etc. JoJo Zaho, and then we have Karen from Finance and Scarlett Adams, and then we got Maxie Shield, and I think that's it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Now let's get to talking about Drag Race. Season 13, which Dijon is saying is a complete migraine to him. He said RuPaul's ran out of material to entertain the girls, so she's basically letting it crash and burn on its own. I was going to say that I think that Drag Race is pretty much running itself into the ground. It's short, like, what is it? It's running on fumes, I guess is the word that I'm trying to say. I am kind of getting exhausted over the overproduction of it, where it feels like it's obviously produced and produced to the point where you can tell the producers are producing the show. I don't have a problem with the top four because I knew this was going to be the top four before the show aired, which is Candy Muse, Simone, Rose, and Got Mick. I knew this was going to be the top four that was going to end up on Drag Race. I have to say there was a lot of situations on this season that kind of irked me. I wasn't as irritated about Candy Muse as a lot of people have been, and I follow the Drag Race fandom online, and I've been seeing, the groups and some of the stuff that they'll say. And what I don't understand is why people are like, oh, that outfit that Candy had on, oh, she should have went home from that. And I'm like, the show is not about getting eliminated based on a runway challenge. That's never been what Drag Race has been about. It's about a culmination of things. It is, they judge you on the challenge. They judge you about all the things you've done throughout your season or whatever that they've been following you, and they do the runway. So it's not just the runway. And people need to realize the lip sync is the last moment where you have to impress the judges to save yourself from elimination. She says it in every episode. Do y'all not listen when y'all watch this damn show? So for people to say that, oh, so-and-so should have went home based on a look, bitch, this is not called RuPaul's Fashion Race. It is called RuPaul's Drag Race. So yes, I do agree. This season was all over the place. It went on a little too long. And then y'all throwing more shows at us, and then we have to go over to Paramount Plus to watch All Stars. I don't know when that's airing, but I think it's going to be in May or June or something or another. This season has been all over the place, and it's been a bit of a roller coaster. But the top four, I'm not that mad at. I know people are still mad that Denali went home in a group challenge, and that y'all had Olivia Lux last and up until like top five, which we all knew she was going home. But I'm not mad about the top four. Like and people need to also realize this show is an entertainment show. So drama, controversy, all of that shit sells. And Candy Muse is good TV, whether you want to admit it or not. And I watch this from the standpoint of a producer, of an artist, how I would produce this show. Yeah, Untucked is good, but I have to admit, I get kind of bored with Untucked because it's not, I don't know, it just doesn't keep me engaged as much, but Untucked is what it is. But I love that we have our first trans male drag queen in the, who made it all the way to the top four. Candy Muse is a big girl queen. I don't think she's going to win, but I've heard rumors of people trying to say she is going to win. I know that people were looking at Simone with her fashions and everything, and she's been doing really well, but she's kind of been rocky getting to the finish line. So to me, I feel like the dark horse who I see as possibly winning the show, I am Team Rose. I know it's probably shocking for people to hear that, but Rose to me has really been bringing it, and she's kind of been flying under the radar, but I've noticed in the last couple of episodes she has risen. But then again, we've said this before, when Drag Race UK, Bimini Bamboo Lash, people wasn't paying attention to her, and then until we got to the end of the line, she was doing really well, and Lawrence Chaney was starting to slide off. But Rue made her the goddamn winner, and I know a lot of people was pissed off over that because they wanted Bimini to win. I am still, no, quite frankly, Team Bimini. But sometimes you also have to realize this: people who win these shows, y'all don't even remember who these bitches are after a while. Not 9 times out of 10, it's the ones who don't win who all go on to have a successful career. Like Jennifer Hudson did not win her season of American Idol, and her career is popping way more than Fantasia's, who, shout out to her, because I heard that she is 6 months pregnant and she's going through it right now with they said she was going into early labor. So I am rooting for her, and hopefully, you know, she gives birth to a healthy baby. Chola Spears, child. Whatever happened to Momo Shade? Now that's who I want to know what's going on with, because you know she is a part of was a part of the House of Aja, and then there was a whole thing that split off with them and all that other stuff. So I feel for, you know, the House of Aja and everything that went down with that. If y'all want to know the tea on what happened with that, definitely check out a fellow Drag Race interviewer by the name of Joseph Shepard. He did an interview with Aja, and then she talked about Candy and the hurtful things she said in that episode. I think it was the first episode of Drag Race, where she was talking about the House of Aja and was very dismissive of that whole legacy. Because let's be frank, if it wasn't for Aja and having these girls that she brought in, we would not have known who Candy Muse is and a lot of these other girls that were part of that whole Aja situation, because Aja was the most popular one to come out of that show. So while you are thriving and doing things on your own with this show, you should acknowledge where you came from and not throw shade at, you know, where you started and where you've evolved to where you are today. So, like I said, I'm Team Rose. If Simone pulls through and all this other stuff, I'll be like, okay, if she wins, I ain't gonna be mad. But to me, those are my top two. And it would be nice to see a trans male win, but I'm not interested in the whole identity politics of let's have someone win because they're trans, or let's have someone win because they're overweight, or let's have someone win because they're black. Like, let's not, I don't want to do the whole identity politics thing that someone should win because they are a minority and you're tired of too many white people winning. It should be based on the talent. Now, don't get me wrong, we can go on and on and on about how racist this whole drag race fandom can be. We ain't gonna go there. We could be here for hours talking about that bullshit. But for the most part, I want people to win on their merit and their talent. And to me, Rosé's been pulling through. And I met her because, you know, she's part of Stephanie's Child. I met her when she performed at the Big Apple Circus, which I worked for at one point 2 years ago. And then I met her when she and Jan and the rest of the girls as Stephanie's Child performed at Yotel during, oh my God, what was it? The New York Drag Con. I don't know why I couldn't remember that, but yeah, she performed. There was at the after show. There was a whole event that I got to go to when I saw them perform. They were amazing. So those are my picks, and let's move on. So I don't know if you've heard, but there's an out artist by the name of ILoveMakonnen who is opening up about how coming out as gay has affected his career. So now we all know that, you know, Lil Nas X is currently reaping the success and financial benefits by ruffling the feathers of faux Christians over his sexuality via his recent Montero Call Me By Your Name music video. Another artist, like I mentioned, called ILoveMakonnen is opening up about his own issues regarding being a queer artist. Now, he took to Twitter to reveal how coming out as an openly gay artist has affected his career. Now, in a series of tweets, he said, "Why they love leaving me out of the 2014-2015 music talks nowadays. The shade the blogger girls and music sites be given. Honey, I was not there." Oh, you said, honey, was I not there? And he says, "It is because I came out as gay. Since I came out as gay, everyone has tried to discredit my career, my music talents and originality and influence. I know y'all ashamed to say you was on a gay man's dick, but just keep it 100 since everyone's so real nowadays." He went on to say, "For people to think I came out as gay for promo is beyond me. Like, there was no album, no nothing. You think I'm trying to get support in a homophobic environment for promo? LOL, the game's so fucked up. It was quite the opposite. I knew it would piss people off, but it was needed." And he also went on to say, "It's really crazy how hip-hop loves fashion brands made by gay men, but get upset when someone in hip-hop comes out as gay. Make it make sense. You confusing yourself." And then also wanted to say, rappers be feeling confident bragging about being in gay designer brands and buying their so-called girlfriend gay designer handbags, but you don't fuck with music made by a man cause why? Or a gay man cause why? So No sympathy acknowledgments. Earn your place with effort. Yeah. Now, here's the thing with what he's saying. Now, he did make a lot of sense in some of the stuff that he was saying that, you know, it is a bit hypocritical that you see a lot of rappers who will big up a lot of brands like Dolce and Gabbana and a lot of these fashion houses that are pretty much designed and run by gay designers, but you don't like gay people. That you'll sit up in here and throw shade at Isaiah Wade, or you'll make negative comments towards people in the gay community, but you pretty much post and say negative things, but you wear the clothes. So that doesn't make any sense. And you have these designers and people behind the scenes who make you look good, but you don't like gay folks. So I don't understand the mentality of it, but I will say that, you know what? Boo-hoo, woe is him. Like, I don't really know much about ILoveMakonnen's music. I don't know if he's been consistently putting out music. Y'all can let me know if you've heard people like LGBT Underground, Yo LGBT Raps, or the weekly top 40. Shout out to DJ Baker. Do y'all be playing ILoveMakonnen's music? Like, is he out here putting stuff out here? And you know, these people are on the cusp of a lot of out artists and putting them on this pedestal. And look, I've hosted events like Queerathon. There was an event, and I'm doing the second one this year, next month. Also, what was it? There was the year in review that we did in December, where we pretty much brought up and talked about and acknowledged out musicians, people who were making music in quarantine, people who were creating music videos, and we played a lot of their music. We had who was it? The Takes the Killer, IKP, Riparachi, Norkin for Life, Medino Green. There's a lot of artists out here who are making music, who are doing the damn thing without having to wait for the acknowledgement of the mainstream world. And y'all sit up in here thinking, okay, yeah, Lil Nas X, congratulations to him. He's got one of the biggest songs in the country right now and got Christians up in arms. The religious right are all mad. These fake ass Christians, you know, you're all mad over what? And you want us to acknowledge a religion or a God that supposedly hates us for being who we are, and then tell us that we're going to hell for being gay. But then when you know, you have an artist who actually goes to hell for giving a lap dance to the devil, now that's the worst damn thing on the planet. So which one is it? Are we going to hell or not? Like, let me know. So he said the Bathing Ape brand is owned by a gay man, but the straight people ate that fashion up. So, and that's what I said it is. It's just the hypocrisy of it all. I don't pay attention to all this. And I feel like, you know what? I'm Makonnen. You can sit up in here and just talk about how people don't see you and don't acknowledge you, and that's all good and granted. But you want to know something? Sometimes if you're real hungry and you really want it, you got to put it yourself out there and be like, fuck y'all. I'm going to still do what I do. I'm going to still make music. I'm going to still hit up producers and write my shit and put it out there. And hopefully you send it to the movers and the shakers who are in the out music industry, the people who create these platforms, like I mentioned, such as LGBT Underground, Yo LGBT Raps, the weekly top 40. Isn't it Pink Elephant Radio? Like, there's so many people out here who are doing, I mean, even I play career music on my podcast. So, you know, I had played Alaska Thunderfucks. I walked into the club the other day and I had someone literally hit me up and say, you had that song stuck in my damn head and still has it in there. So I play a lot of out music as well. So if the song is good and you've got the talent, there are people out here who will create these platforms and support you. And I feel like, and I've said this before, within the next 10 years, I really feel like our music is going to be hitting the stratosphere and people are going to finally acknowledge this genre of music, because you can't keep a lot of the people that are making this music quiet. There's a lot of people out here who are making amazing music, who are queer. They're making music for us and it's by us. And there's a space and there's a lane for it. And we're creating these spaces. And I've even said, like, once this whole COVID shit lifts, I want to start creating events in New York. Hopefully the club scenes will be all for it, because we all know a lot of you promoters could be a little racist and a lot of you club owners are a little racist. We can have a whole conversation about that on another show. But hopefully we can allow these spaces, because I have to say this, hip hop is definitely one of the most dominant music styles in America and the world. And to not give a space for the out hip hop community to thrive and to perform in venues specifically in New York, where New York is the founding place for hip hop, I think it's bullshit. So if there are any clubs out there that want to open up a space, of course, since you know I'm part of that whole community, let me know. Because bitch is available, and you know I can give y'all my information to book a bitch. So now, Dijon also said Louis Vuitton, Prada, etc. are owned and have designers who are openly gay as well. Absolutely, and that's why I said the fashion industry is predominantly run by the queer community, and for rappers to be all homophobic and say certain things that they say when you have a lot of people in our industry who run this shit, and a lot of queer people who run the fashion industry, it just doesn't make sense to me how we still can't get acknowledgement. And you know what? That's why I said Lil Nas X, keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully with his power and influence, he will open that door where he can bring a lot of those, you know, when he goes on tour, he can have a Cakes to Killer and a Liberace or whoever as his opening act. I hope it gets to that point, but we'll see. So now our final article that I want to talk about is DMX. So y'all know he is currently, oh yeah, you could definitely, if you want to read the rest of that article, you can head over to tribe.com if you want to read that article that I have written about ILoveMakonnen and the whole out music situation. So now back to DMX. So now DMX, as y'all know, is in grave medical condition, prompting an outpour from industry friends and associates. Yet, Funkmaster Flex, this love and support may be too little too late. So now you know with all this, here he go, having to open his damn mouth about something when Funkmaster Flex should be focusing on his addiction to liposuction instead of worrying about DMX's addiction to drugs. So the troubled rapper, who you know is 50, is in a vegetative state after suffering a drug overdose and heart attack this past Friday. But Funk says that industry insiders knew about his drug demons. He says the music business is a gorilla. It's a bottomless pit of happiness and depression, the Hot 97 DJ told Page 6. I don't want to say people don't help, but don't help you, but I do want to say there are people who actually know when a star is struggling but don't help sometimes. You don't always get the best help when money is being made. It's rough for someone like a DMX who may be in a mental and emotional state of childhood trauma that has happened to him and then being thrown into the money and fame. The slipping rapper, who claimed in his autobiography that he was viciously beaten by his mother's boyfriends, has spoken openly about his ongoing battle with drug addiction. He has also claimed that his former mentor tricked him into smoking crack at the age of 14. He says, I know he shares his demons, and we may have to amplify that demon and amplify his story and his feelings so that the next generation can kind of see a little better, a little clearer. Meanwhile, he told us that he's frustrated by celebrities' so-called friends who post on social media in troubled times, but don't lend their support when it counts. He says people can find the picture they had with the person that's going through a tragedy in 30 seconds, but you haven't called that person in 10 years. He also continued by saying, let me see the picture of you when you went afterwards to his house because you were so concerned. I never see that picture where they go to the house. Nipsey Hussle passed away, and every washed up rapper made a pilgrimage to LA to go to the Marathon store to take a picture or get their card swiped. Bro, Nipsey needed that support when he was alive. Now, Flex has created a media hub called Inflex We Trust with musical acts such as Pooch, Hasty, CJ. Okay, we don't care because all these people that I'm about to name, I don't even know who the fuck they are. But here's the thing about Funk Flex. While it is interesting of what he's saying, the reality is DMX has never shied away from the fact that he has had demons, that he has dealt with drugs majority of his life, that when he was a teenager, he was addicted to crack. And even when he started his career out, he was in and out of rehab facilities. He was often on drugs. He has always struggled with drugs for majority of his life. There's been a lot of childhood trauma that he has not dealt with. And sometimes, a lot of times, people resort to drugs because they can't handle the personal trauma in their lives. And it's unfortunate because when you are a Black man in America, you are taught, or just a Black man in general, I should just say. But let's talk about America because that's the only country I'm from and that's the only thing I know. And growing up in the hood, you're taught to suppress your emotions. You're taught not to talk about your problems. Now with me, luckily, I come from an environment where my mother was always about, if you got an issue, if you got problems, you could talk about it openly and don't worry about, repercussions or whatever the case is. And I realized that my generation, like my cousins and this, that, and the other, we come from a place where we talk about trauma and we try to deal with trauma. So luckily, the tides are changing. And I think that situation started to shift around my parents' generation, if you were born in like, the 50s and 60s and 70s, that whole time period started to change where, people started wanting to talk more about things. Like now we're talking about Me Too and sexual harassment and rape and all these other things. So gladly those things, the time is changing. But and also, you don't necessarily know if members of Rough Riders like the Eves or whoever else that he is friends with or have known him throughout his career have tried to reach out to DMX and what his reaction is. Some people don't necessarily want the help. Some people just want to be left alone. You don't necessarily know what someone's situation is. So for you to judge and say that people weren't there for someone when you don't necessarily know, that's not an issue you need to be worrying about. You need to be concerned about your own shit. Like I said, you need to be more concerned about your goddamn liposuction instead of worrying about DMX's drug addiction and how people reacted to that. Miss Thing. So don't worry about what other people or how people react. Maybe you should focus and concern yourself about how you will deal with, or let's ask this question. Were you reaching out to DMX during his times of need? Were you out there hitting him up when you were talking about his drug addiction or trying to give him ways to go to rehab and helping him out? Were you the one being that emotional support instead of you worrying about people who you think are in his inner circle who are trying to reach out to him? The man has a lot of issues. The man's got like a football field of kids, like 14, 15 damn children that he had to focus on and all that other stuff. So there's a lot that's going on in his life that you don't necessarily know. And for you to try to put that off on other people, to me, is not fair. My thing at the end of the day is we are all grown, we are all human, and we're all responsible for our own shit. And I hope that DMX gets well. I hope he pulls through. But when you talk about somebody in a vegetative state and he's been unconscious for 20 minutes and they try to revive him 3 times and he had a heart attack and he's considered brain dead, I think it's slim to none. They're probably going to have the worst of the worst. I don't want to think the worst, but I think the worst is coming. And he's going to be another one of those legends that we're going to have to give an RIP to. So prayers for him and his family. It's unfortunate what he's going through, and maybe he'll finally find peace beyond all this because he's someone who clearly, has struggled to fight his demons and wasn't able to do it. And maybe what I'll take from this of what he's saying is that maybe we need to stop waiting until someone is in a bad state or someone's on the verge of dying or dead to give them their flowers, to acknowledge them, to want to help people. Let's try to do all we can for those who we love and who we're close to. And hopefully they'll make it through that struggle. But like I said, at the end of the day, the person who's going through addiction has to want the help. Sometimes you got to hit your rock bottom. And you can do all you can to help someone who's going through addiction. But if they're not willing to take that first step, there's nothing you can pretty much do. So, like I said, flares up to him. Funk Flex, you always got something to say about somebody when you need to be focused on yourself. Mind your goddamn business. And that's that. So anyway, we have reached the end of this episode of On the Line. I just want to jump in real quick and give a hey and all that other good stuff. Oh, I saw, and before I signed up, I did see Kong versus Godzilla. It was all right. I didn't particularly care for it. Yeah, it gave me what it gave me, like big fight scenes. But the whole plot, there wasn't one. There was no story. The American actors were wasted. It was basically just a celebrity death match between Godzilla and Kong and Mega Godzilla. It was just a big, stupid 2-hour movie, which gave us, I guess, what it needed to give us. So that's all I got. I ain't got no more for this episode. Tune in. I will be doing more videos, and I have a new show that's supposed to be starting up in May with Remy and Lindsay. If y'all been paying attention to a lot of shows on here. So yes, if you like this episode, please subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, all the good stuff. Tell your friends about the show and all the other good stuff. Love you all for watching. And until then, ciao, darlings.
Leave Lil Nas X alone.
since you brought up the whole Diesel Washington thing, Diesel has gone on social media and in the press and at a lot of the Gay Vienna Awards and stuff, and has complained many a times about racism in porn and that sort of things. Basically the same things we're all talking about. But I remember you went and brought up the fact that he's kind of played into the perpetuation of Black stereotypes, meaning the whole thug role that he's played in a lot of these mainstream white adult films. So I wanted to basically get your opinion on that. Well, you can let people know like how it all, you know, basically to set it all up, and then your thoughts and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, at one point we met in person, and I mean, he seemed cool, all right, but at the same time, I felt, yeah, he was playing that same role that you kept seeing for decades of a Black porn actor. He was this big guy who, you know, gym body and bald and dark skin. So, I mean, that's the mold that they seem to make of Black males in gay porn, where when they're featured with white and light skinned Latino porn actors. And so I kind of felt like basically like, how can you know, talk about the racism in the industry when you play this image repeatedly over and over and over again, and you're still playing it no matter what? You're not losing any, you know, you're not losing anything in the process. You're not putting your necessarily putting your career on the line like I say I was, because that's kind of what I did. I was in the middle of trying to climb up the ladder, and I still started, you know, came forward in spite of that, because when I got in it, I told myself that, you know, if this ends, you know, for whatever reason, then it's going to end. But, you know, he still wanted to play into that image. So it's like people can't take you seriously if you're being a hypocrite. You know, like I said, you're playing into the stereotype, but at the same time you're claiming, why can't I play this? So why can't I play that? Well, then make that demand of not playing that, and maybe we'll take your point more seriously.
I totally agree with that. It's like you can't start out a certain way, perpetuating a certain image and a certain thing, and then you're like, well, yeah, the thug role, you were willing to play the game to get through the door, and now, of course, they're not going to take you serious because that's all they want to catch you as. It's the same thing in Hollywood films. You start out one way, you do something long enough, that's all they see you as, and then you're trying to make a